The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hand, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. The poet is looking at an old photo album which is made up of cardboard. In the picture, there are three girls who are walking on the beach holding each other's hands. The girl in the middle is the tallest and the oldest, and she is the poet's mother. She is around 12 years old when the picture was taken. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. The poet describes how the photograph was taken. Her mother's uncle took the photograph and told them to stop and pose. All three of them left their wet hair open and smiled at the camera. The poet's attention is drawn towards his mother's face, which is described as a sweet face. But her mother has changed a lot, because living things transcend. This means that the poet's mother had passed away and that living things are impermanent. Some 20-30 years later, she'd laugh at the snapshot. "See, Betty and Dolly," she'd say, "and look how they dressed us for the beach." The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both dry with the labored ease of loss. The poet tells us that after 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the photograph. She would tell me to look at her cousins, Betty and Dolly, and how their parents would dress all three of them up for the beach. They would have planned to take a photograph beforehand. The poet recalls the sea holiday was her mother's favorite moment from the past, while the poet's favorite moment from the past was her mother's laughter. Both the women would think about those past memories which they cannot live again. They tried their best to adjust to what they lost. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences. The poet now tells us that her mother died 12 years ago, the same age as her mother was in the photograph. Whenever the poet thinks of her mother's death, she cannot explain what effect she has of her mother's death. Death has silenced her mother, which has also left her speechless.